Hey y'all, it's Callie and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. This week I am doing absolutely nothing. For the most part, I have a few small plans, but I am planning to knock out a whole bunch of reading. I have rearranged my shelves, which you can kind of see. I got a new series that I didn't really classify as contemporary or fantasy, so I decided to rearrange it, and so I have all of my hardback series, and then my mix of hardback and paperback series, and then my paperback series, and then my standalone hardbacks, my standalone paperbacks. So that's the way I'm doing that for now. I'm not super happy, but I kind of like how everything's kind of mixed in together. It's just kind of really cool, and then in those categories I have it alphabetically because it just makes it easier. So yes, that is that. Reading update. I finished Defy last night by L.J. Shen. I really enjoyed it, but at the same time it was a novella, so it seemed extremely short and like it didn't develop things enough, I felt, so I kind of gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It was interesting, it was fun, you got to see like their whole story from start to almost finish to far into their future where they have kids and that kind of stuff, which I always enjoy. But at the same time, like, the relationship happened super fast, but it was also a novella. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. I don't have access to the rest of the series currently, but I am really interested and would love to read more about these characters and the place that they live and all of that kind of stuff. So I finished that last night and technically this morning, and then I picked up Make Believe Fiancé by Vivi Holt. I have not started that one yet, but that is another Prime Reading Kindle book that I will be picking up as just a fast, easy romance to enjoy and just all that kind of stuff. My physical book I've been reading is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. I have not read anything yet. I'm on page 112 still. I'm super excited. I'm hoping to get to a lot of this. I was out of town for a week, so I'm still behind on some booktube. I've got 33 videos left, so I think what I'm going to try to do is, one, they are already on 2x speed, just to try to get through them so I won't be behind for as long as I was for the last month or so. And between each video, I'm going to try to read a chapter of Tower of Dawn, just trying to make my way through it. I'm at least going to read 50 pages today, and that's my basis for every day until I finish it. And then we will take it from there. Super excited to read more of this. I just sometimes have trouble convincing myself that it's a good idea to read and convincing myself to sit down and read and not do anything else. Distractions are big for me. So, and I have group chats blowing up because college parking is very unclear and they didn't tell you a lot about it, and now people are freaked out because they think they're getting parking and they're not, and it's drama, and I understand it, but nobody else does. I've tried helping, but they don't care. Anyways, and then the audiobook I'm listening to, I'm about halfway through, and that is Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. I am super excited to complete the rest of this book. After I finish BookTube, that should help out a lot because I tend to watch BookTube instead of listening to the audiobook, which just makes it take longer. I have like 11 days to finish it, including 2 of those days I will have to listen to Our Dark Duet, I think. I don't know. We will see what happens. I'm just really enjoying all of my reading, and I have all day today at home just to do whatever I want to do. It is already 11 o'clock because I just woke up, but we will see what the day brings. Hey y'all, it is now Tuesday morning, and I guess morning, yes, still morning for 30 more minutes. And I wanted to update you guys on the reading I did last night. Looking back, I got a lot of reading done yesterday, considering the amount of BookTube I watched. Like, I 2x speed got through all of those videos, and now I'm completely caught up, which is just so relieving and just makes me feel like I have most of my day or more of my day, and just I feel more productive. I don't know. Brains are weird things, and everybody's different, and it's really crazy. But I wanted to update you guys. I finished the ebook for Make Believe Fiancé by Vivi Holt. I really enjoyed that one. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. There were a few things where I was like, okay, or it was like something basic that like you hear it all the time. Which I mean is kind of expected, but sometimes you just want a little bit more out of it. And it took because it's a fake fiancé trope, you know that the secret's gonna get revealed, and I didn't like the way the secret was revealed. But overall, I really, really enjoyed it, and it was just frustrating every once in a while, so I knocked it down a star for that. I only have about 2 hours left of Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. I'm so super excited to be so close to being finished with it. I feel like I've been listening to it for a long time. It's been less than a week, but like I said, brains are weird things. And then that will open up for me to listen to another book. I'm not sure which one yet. I think it'll be Finale by Stephanie Garber. I have 5 things on hold, including Escaping from Houdini, and then a book that I'm going to use for the reading rush. But I can always start that and then finish it, you know. I don't know. We'll see. I am going to try to focus my hardest. I haven't started a new ebook, kind of trying to keep myself focused on physical reading, and in Tower of Dawn, I made quite a bit of progress yesterday. I have added a few more tabs you can kind of see. And I am on page 225, which is just a good chunk of the way through. I read like 115 pages yesterday, which was really great. A few of the things I tabbed, let's see, I've been using the light purple tabs to just kind of have specific quotes. This one says, "They're desperate, and desperation breeds people who are willing to do anything to get what they want." And that was just really powerful, I thought. Everything he had left, what he'd failed, what he'd hated, and what he'd become. The lines between the last two had blurred. I just thought that was really powerful, that the things that you hate and the person you can become the same thing. And then I also had a light green tab because I thought it was funny. It was like, it wouldn't be spoilery, but like if you don't know, you wouldn't understand, because it's just referring to the fact that someone is eating a lot of food because they had like some sort of like worm in them, you know, those worms like eat the food that you're eating, and so then you get skinny, but then it's like a whole somebody had one of those removed, so they were trying to gain all their weight back, and they were like making a joke that they were gaining it back so they would have a nice butt for their lover, and I just thought that was funny and adorable at the same time. So yes, that is where I'm at. Today I have more plans. Yesterday I was like, oh, I should do this and this and this and that, and I didn't do anything, partially because the planner I use for like my writing down my everyday tasks right now was all the way at my desk, which I mean is not very far at all, but you know, sometimes it's a lot. So I finally got around to doing it, so I have a whole list of things I can do today. Some of them don't necessarily need to happen, but they're just some ideas of what I could do, what I should do, that kind of stuff. So yes, I'm hoping to be super productive today, even if it's just in something small. Hey y'all, so it is now currently later on Tuesday, and I wanted to update you guys on the whole lot of reading I've done today. I have been super productive, especially when it comes to reading and all that kind of stuff, but got all my laundry done, another good thing. So, I finished the audiobook for Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. I really enjoyed it. I'll probably give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was really solid, but it got to the point where it's just kind of like the same thing was happening over and over, and we weren't finding anything out about the killer yet. And it got kind of boring for a second, but overall, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was just kind of I just really like listening to those audiobooks. They are pretty light and fun, or like pretty light, like dark and fun, but I really enjoy my time listening to them. So I finished that one, and I have now started the audiobook for Finale by Stephanie Garber. I'm almost 2 hours into it, and it's good. It's taking me a second to kind of remember what's going on and what's supposed to be happening, but there is some drama going on, like some boy drama, and it's really just kind of fun, and I'm enjoying it. So yes, that is what I'm at in terms of audiobooks. I still have not picked up an ebook. Technically, I did go ahead and check out the ebook for Tower of Dawn so that I can kind of double up and get through that a little bit faster, because there were some books I wanted to read before the start of Reading Rush, and that's Monday, so a little less than a week away. And speaking of Tower of Dawn, I am over halfway through now. I am currently on chapter 30, page 356, which is over halfway through, which is really exciting. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm really enjoying the tidbits where they're wondering what Aylin's doing, and they're wondering... There was one really funny part where they were like, oh, she would never go here. I'll tell the person that's trying to figure out where she is that she's here. And that's where she 100% went. So that's just kind of fun tidbits like that. I haven't really tabbed anything else, I don't think. I'm just really enjoying this. Gonna try to get through this in the next few days, hopefully. I've already read over 100 pages today, which is always a good thing. Just trying to make my way through. I'm really enjoying it. This might be the fastest I've read one of these, one of her bigger books. I read the first few pretty quickly, but after starting with Heir of Fire, they started to take me a little bit longer, partially because they are longer. But I just kind of, it was harder for me to just sit down and read, and I've been able to do that with this one, which is super exciting. I'm trying to right now go between 30 minutes of physical reading or ebook reading and 30 minutes of audiobook listening and kind of getting other things done, which has been going pretty well. I started doing that after I finished Escaping from Houdini, and I'm enjoying everything. Yeah, it's a great day. Just hanging out, chilling, getting stuff done. I'll see you guys later. Hey y'all, it is now Tuesday night. It's like 9 o'clock, and I've done so much reading today. I've been so super productive in that way, and a few other ways I've gotten a few little things done I needed to do, so it's been pretty great. In Tower of Dawn, I am on page 443, which is a good chunk of the way through. I've got about 220 pages left, which is about how much I've read today. So based on that, I could finish this tomorrow, including the reading that I'll have, because I've still got like 3 hours left of today. But we'll see. I'm super excited. I'm obviously loving it. I'm zooming through this. This might be the fastest I've ever read one of these, considering that the first 100 pages I read over 2 days, and that was kind of when I was really busy. So I've technically only read this for 4 days now, and I'm on page 442, which is really good for me for Sarah J. Maas. Of this, like the later Throne of Glass books have been pretty hard for me to get through in terms of like length. Loving this, loving the characters, can't wait to see what's gonna happen, loving it. And then in Finale by Stephanie Garber, I'm about 4 hours in. I'm enjoying it. It's not my favorite series ever, but it's intriguing and I'm enjoying it, kind of like Escaping from Houdini and all of that. I like it a little bit better than Escaping from Houdini and all that because of the kind of like fates, and the little bit of magical aspect to it is really fun. And yes, that is where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. That's what my update is for today, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Hey y'all, it's now Wednesday the 17th. It is like 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:30, you know. But I'm getting my day started. I've got my bagel cooking in the toaster oven, which is kind of why I'm in the downstairs area. I don't think you guys have seen this before, like fully. So yes, I wanted to update you guys on the whole lot of reading I did yesterday. In Tower of Dawn, how much do I have left? 60 pages, that's it. I'm totally gonna finish this today. I'm on page 605, so I technically have 55 pages. I just like knowing how much I have left. I am loving this. This is gonna be like a 6 out of 5 stars. I am just so wrapped up. At first, I was kind of hesitant going in because I was like, I mean, it's all about Kale and he's not really doing much. But obviously he did a lot. I was like, this is probably gonna be boring. It's such a big book and he's not doing anything. He did a lot. And I just didn't even know what direction it was gonna go in, and I'm loving the direction it has gone in, and I love this so much. I love the characters, I love the relationships that are forming, the friendships, just everything has been so amazing. And the drama, I physically got shocked and had to comment on something. Oh, totally changing things that we've believed from technically book 3 is when it was introduced, but now it's book 6, and now we're realizing this whole plot twist about one character. Like, it's craziness. In finale, I have about 5 hours left. I will probably be able to finish it today, considering how much audiobook listening I got to do yesterday. So yes, exciting stuff. Getting things done, it's great. Getting things done for me just means getting a lot of reading done a lot of the times. So I've been really productive. I do need to look at my list and get a few other things done, but a lot of that I can do while listening to audiobooks. So yeah. And I'm trying to get better when I'm watching BookTube now that I'm caught up on commenting on videos, because I love getting comments, so I'm trying to like reciprocate, you know? But anyways, I'm gonna go make sure my bagel isn't burning and get some coffee. And I will talk to you guys when I finish Tower of Dawn, probably. Hey y'all, it is now 1 o'clock, and I wanted to update you guys on the exciting reading I've done so far. So I have about 4 hours left of Finale by Stephanie Garber. Really enjoying it, just the whole magical aspect. I've always really enjoyed the like sisterly bond between Scarlett and Donatella, and just seeing that kind of unfold in all of these different situations has been really cool to watch. And then I finished Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait to start Kingdom of Ash. I can't believe people waited so long between the release of this one and the release of Kingdom of Ash. Oh my gosh, I am so glad I have it on my TBR for August. I'm going to be filming that today. And I'm hoping I'm going to get to it and zoom through it because, wow, this was so good. I loved it. And my heart is going to break because I know that you can't survive a giant war with no one dying. And I just love all of our characters, and I don't want to see any of them die. And I don't know what's going to happen, and it's driving me crazy. So yes, that's happening. Loving this. It's amazing. So amazing. So yes, really glad I finished this one, and then I'm picking up a new book. I went straight into Beautiful Stranger by Christina Lauren, which is book 2 in the Beautiful Bastard series. I started this series recently and fell in love with it. I'm so addicted. I kind of justify reading them as soon as possible because my library does not have these in ebooks or audiobooks. So I'm like, oh, I can't read them on my phone. So like, they're on the part of my TBR where like I can only read them physically, which I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm already on page 31 and I sat down and read it for like 15 minutes. Loving it already. It took me a second to kind of remember some of the details of Chloe and Bennett, who are the characters from the first book. You kind of see a glimpse of this book follows a stranger man who we have not met yet, like officially, like we've met him and like there have been some interactions, you know, but we don't know his name yet. I mean, I could read the back, but spoilers. But our main female character is the best friend of Chloe, and her name is Sarah. Really interested to see how her story goes. I will be focusing on this and audiobooks, and we will see how far we go. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I will update you guys later today. Hey y'all, it is now Thursday and it is really late. It's like 4:45, really late compared to a first update for the last few days or so. I've done a whole lot of reading. Not as much as I have in the last few days, but I also helped my mom in her classroom, kind of setting everything back up, and so I didn't really have as much time to read as I have in the last few days. But I still have gotten a lot done. So last night I finished Beautiful Stranger by Christina Lauren. Good lordy, I love these books. They're such quick reads and I just really love them. I just pretty much read them in one sitting. I really enjoyed this one, gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Wow. I just love me a good smutty book, and this is pretty much exactly that. And then after that, I am going to be picking up The Dragon Heir by Cinda Williams Chima. This is book 3 in the Heir Chronicles. Trying to get through this one before the start of August because I have books 4 and 5 on my TBR for my newts. So, trying to get through this one. It's about 500 pages, but I shouldn't have any kind of problem because if I don't finish it by the end of this weekend, I can always read it in those last few days after Reading Rush before the start of August. I love these books. They're pretty quick reads, which is why I'm not super worried about it. I might even be able to finish it before then, but today has just kind of been a slower day, so I haven't had a chance to start it yet. And then I read the ebook for Unexpectedly Yours by an author, Kami. I feel like it starts with a K. It's on my Goodreads if you want to know more, but I started and finished that one. I actually just laid down and just finished it because I was like halfway through it and really enjoying it and just kind of wanted to know more, and I had an ebook hold come through my library, so now I have an ebook on loan through my library, and I wanted to go ahead and make sure I got to that one as soon as possible. Speaking of, that is James Patterson's All-American Murder, The Rise and Fall of Aaron Hernandez. I figured since it was available through my library, I might as well go ahead, and I had it on hold just because I felt like it, so I just went ahead and got it. It is a mass market paperback, and it has about 375 pages, so it shouldn't take me too long. I've never really read any kind of book like this where it's a nonfiction kind of thriller, I guess. It just seems like the kind of documentaries I've been watching on Netflix about cults and all that kind of stuff, so I figured I would go ahead and try one of these and see how I feel about the whole thing in book form. Super excited. It'll probably take me a little bit longer because I'm not super interested, but we will see how it goes. And then, lastly, in Our Dark Duet, which is the audiobook I've been listening to by Victoria Schwab. Did I tell you guys I started reading this? I can't remember. If I have, I'm already halfway through. I'm on page 260. I'm really enjoying this. It's a surprisingly quick audiobook. It's the book itself is 500 pages, but the audiobook is only 10 hours, which is super short for a 500-page book. But I'm really enjoying this. It took me a while to get through the ebook of This Savage Song, so I'm super pumped to be listening to the audiobook since it is such a fast-paced book and I'm still kind of absorbing the same amount I was reading the ebook. Because when I read the ebook for the first one, I wasn't putting all of my attention on it, so I'm really enjoying this. I really enjoy the odd and friendly dynamic between August and Kate, and it's just so interesting to see how it's going to go, what's going to happen in this crazy world. I'm super excited. I am down to the point where I have Our Dark Duet, a Paris book on audiobook that's 38 hours long, and then Lady Midnight, which I'm saving for the Reading Rush as my kind of audiobook for that week. So, I have plenty of things to listen to and to do and to read. I am still watching BookTube from this morning because this morning I got up and I left pretty early. I got myself around and then left, so I didn't really have time to watch BookTube this morning. So I'm catching up on yesterday's BookTube right now, and then I will hunker down and get some reading done in these last few hours of the day. Hey y'all, it is now 9 o'clock later on Thursday, and I quickly wanted to update you guys with some of the reading I've done. I've really just hunkered down and read since I last updated you. I've gotten a lot done. I take advantage of the time. I do hour increments, hour of audiobook listening, and then I've broken down the physical reading into 30 minutes of ebook and 30 minutes of physical book. It's working out really well. I'm getting a lot done, not just reading wise, kind of preparing myself for the next few weeks and the things that I need to do that are really important. But a reading update. Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. Amazing. So good. Loving it. Just Kate and August are like my new best friends, and I love them, and they're such sweet beans, and I love them. I'm currently on page 420. I really have like 90 pages left. I'm gonna finish this audiobook in the next chunk of audiobook listening I have. I'm pretty sure I will. Loving it. Cannot wait to finish it. I pretty much finished this in a little over 24 hours, which, wow, how... It's a short audiobook, but I've found ways to listen to it because it's just so gripping and so amazing. And I need to have time to listen to that 38-hour audiobook all about Paris. But I'm loving this. Cannot wait to have completed yet another series this year. I'm just banging them out, finishing, starting. I'm just doing the things, and it feels amazing and great, and it's honestly an amazing feeling. And then in the ebook, I am currently on page 56. The bookmark is a little wrong because this is my ebook reading time. It's very interesting. It's kind of cool because one of the places it mentions that it has interviews with a lot of other people, and one of those other people is like a teammate who came from my parents' hometown, which is just kind of fun. I do have to say, not knowing a lot about football, and especially college SEC football during that time, I'm not really connecting as well because I don't know some of the people that they're talking about, and I don't really understand when they say, we had such a great tight end. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. So, I guess it's just kind of helping me skim through it because I'm just eyeballs glaze over, skip. I'm still really enjoying it. It's really intriguing because we've kind of, the first, the prologue or whatever was, a dead person. Which, if you read the back, you kind of find out there's a all-American murder. There's gonna be some death, and you kind of get Aaron's backstory, and we're just starting to get to the point where it's all of these other people talking about him and how he was just the life of the party, but there was also something off about him, which is just really cool to see. It's very psychology awesome for me. It's really interesting to see right now. We're in a point where he's in college still. I think he's still a sophomore, so I wonder what all is going to happen because he doesn't look super old, quote unquote. So this is 2008 and the murder, or they found the body in 2013. So that's a lot for 5 years. That's a lot of book for 5 years when we've had 18 years in this chunk. I don't know. I'm interested to see where it's going to go. And then in the Dragon Heir, I am on page 55. Really intriguing. I kind of completely forgot who our main character was at first, and then after I realized who it was, it all clicked. I totally got it. I'm all in. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. In this one is different from the first two, and that the first two we were introduced to new characters. Well, the first one was obviously the basis, but in the second one we were introduced to a character that was completely separate, and he had no connection to some of our main characters from book one, and in this one the connection is already established to those characters, and it's not a matter of finding out about these people. It's a matter of him doing his own shenanigans and already knowing them and trying to inform them and that kind of stuff. But I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait to read more of it. These are I just can't put them down. they're not the most exciting things, but I love them, and I'm so glad I started reading them. Hey y'all, it is now Friday morning, and I wanted to update you guys on the whole lot of reading that I managed to do last night. I really just hunkered down after my busy morning and just read a lot. A lot of it was audiobook. Speaking of, I finished Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. I loved it. I thought about giving it 4 stars, but I couldn't not give it 5 stars because it was just so amazing. I finished the audiobook in 2 days, and I don't know, it got me. It came out of nowhere, really, because I knew everybody enjoyed it, but I just didn't love This Savage Song as much as everybody else seemed to. But this did it for me. Like, I absolutely loved it. Wow, amazing. 10 out of 10 would recommend. So amazing. I really loved the character development, and the ending was so sad. I loved this. Please go pick up this duology. Please. And then after that, I have the audiobook for Paris the Novel by Edward Rutherford. Because I had already read a little chunk of it, I was able to start the audiobook like an hour and a half in already, of like 39 hours, and I'm already to page 63, which there's a lot of text on these pages, so that's pretty good. I think it's like almost 3 hours of listening. Not really sure. Really intriguing. I really think that the audiobook is going to be the best way to go about it, because I can still retain the information without having to sit down and just physically read it. And if I do feel the need to like zone out, I won't have to like waste time, because it'll just continue on without me. It's hilarious. The chapter I'm reading right now takes place in the 13th century, and this girl is a savage. She is hilarious because she's messing with this dude on the side, and in that time, like, she's a teenager, so that's not acceptable because she's like a single young woman. And then she finds out that he's been sleeping with another girl, and she is just so incredibly savage, and it's hilarious, and like, it shouldn't be funny, but it was to me. I was literally laughing out loud. It was amazing. Highly suggest. It was graphic, but in a hilarious way, kind of. I don't know. That's just me. And then in the ebook for James Patterson's All-American Murder, I am on page 158, a good chunk of the way through. This is really intriguing, really interesting. It's starting to get to the point where Aaron is making some bad choices more often, and it's good, but like, I feel like we aren't getting the whole picture, because in an earlier chapter it mentions the birth of his daughter, and he kind of makes some comments about how he's going to do better, and then we go straight to him making terrible decisions, so it doesn't really seem to affect him at all, and I just don't know if that is true or not. I don't know. It feels a little disconnected, but it's still pretty interesting, pretty quick read. And then in The Dragon Heir by Cinda Williams Chima, I am on page 106. I just love these books, because even though there's not much going on, it just sucks me in, and I can't stop reading, and it's amazing. And yeah, that's where my reading's at. Today, my plans are to hang out. I'm going to go to a pool, at least for a little bit. The weather isn't very pool weather, but I'm planning to just pretty much read, and then I have dinner with some friends tonight, and other than that, I'm just going to read as much as possible. I did edit and schedule my video for tomorrow, so that's super exciting to already have that done. So yeah, I'm just hanging out and chilling. Hey y'all, it is now Saturday morning, and I wanted to update you guys on the little bit of reading I got done yesterday. I didn't do a lot of reading. I ended up going to the pool and not reading as much at the pool as I would have thought, because we didn't get to spend a lot of time there before it started raining, and then we came back and kind of got ourselves together, and a friend came over, and then I went to the little cookout thing, so I didn't really have a chance to do a lot of physical reading for sure, or ebook reading, but I got quite a bit of audiobook reading done. Speaking of In Paris, which was my audiobook by Edward Rutherford, I am now on page 184, which is a whopping 7 hours in. This is such a long audiobook, but it's really good, really interesting. Oh, right now they are building the Eiffel Tower, and just kind of right now they're celebrating Bastille Day while they're still constructing the Eiffel Tower. And this is just such a fascinating book, but I don't think I would have been able to really sit down and read it as well as I have been able to listen to the audiobook, so I'm really glad my library had it available. And then in the ebook for All American Murder, I am on page 186, I think. Oh, no, 243. Yes, that's how math works. I've got a little over 150 pages, I'd say. Like 130 pages left. It's really, really interesting. The murder's happening. The detectives and the lawyers are getting involved, and he's finally being the consequences are finally catching up with this dude who got away with so much crap. It's so crazy that anyone, not even just an NFL football player, but anyone was able to get away with all of this crap. It's just crazy. I definitely don't love it. The writing style can sometimes be a bit off for me, but it's overall fairly interesting. I'm kind of glad I'm just going ahead and getting it off my TBR. And then in the Dragon Heir, I did the least amount of reading. I read up to page 134, which is a little chunk of the way through. I'm going to try to hunker down and read a lot of this today. I'm going to try to finish this one in today and tomorrow before the reading rush. I'm so excited for that. But if not, there are a few days after the reading rush. Let me see. There are 3 days after the reading rush where I could finish this one if I don't finish it before, that are before the newts. So I can definitely get this one finished by the start of August, but I'm going to try to finish it before reading rush so I don't forget everything that's happening. So yes, today I'm doing absolutely nothing. My only plans are to read. I started right when I woke up. I just started listening to audiobook, and I haven't stopped reading since. Although I have added a little bit of booktube, but I'm focusing it mainly on reading, and I'm super excited. Hey y'all, so it is later on Saturday. It's about 4:30, and I wanted to update you guys on the whole lot of reading. I've been doing kind of 30-minute segments of audiobook, ebook, physical, and booktube stuff. Yeah, so I've been so super productive today, and first I wanted to update you guys in the audiobook for Paris. I'm really enjoying it. It's just the perfect format for me to read it in. I'm currently on page 217. This is slow going. Like, this is 10 hours already, and we're only on page 217, which is really great progress, but, like, I had, like, Our Dark Duet was 500 pages in 10 hours, but it just goes to show how much more dense this is and just how much more text is on the pages and all that kind of stuff. It's so super interesting, really enjoying it. Highly suggest if you're really interested in the history of Paris. It's like kind of like a historical fiction, but more about like the time and the area and less about a certain specific person's storyline, if you know what I mean. Super cool. And then in All American Murder, I have a little less than 100 pages left. I am on page 287, and it's about 375 pages long. I can't really get on board with the writing style. I'm really losing interest, and partially because things don't seem to connect. They mention at times in-depth stories about him using marijuana all the time and drinking all the time, and then all of a sudden they'll be talking about how he often used all of these other drugs, but the other drugs are never really mentioned in the in-depth stories, so that's just kind of confusing. I wish they'd explained that a little bit better. And also, like, okay, so James Patterson wrote this book, right? And they mention that in jail, Aaron Hernandez read a bunch of James Patterson books. Like, that just seems like shameless self-promo. I don't know. But, I mean, it's kind of interesting. We'll see how I feel. It's just got a little bit left. We'll see what happens next. I mean, obviously we know how it'll end, but I'm interested to see how much I like or dislike the rest of it. And then in The Dragon Heir by Cinda Williams-Chima, oh my gosh, I just love these books. I have read so much. I am on page 274, which is over halfway through now. I think I will be able to finish this if I really just sit down and read a lot in these next 2 days, especially with the amount of reading I've been able to do today. I can sit down and read for 30 minutes and get through 40 or 50 pages, which is really great. I'm just really loving the characters. Everything is so complex and amazing, and I love these books so much, and it's so great that they are just such quick, fun fantasy reads. Fun meaning like everything's crazy and intense and you can't imagine it happening to you. But I just love them, and the characters are just so complex because there's just so many layers to each and every character, and you get to see so much from each of them. It's just so much fun and so wonderful. And yes, highly suggest picking this series up. Amazing. So yes, that is where I'm at in reading. I have been working on editing my August TBR for you guys, and I've been doing some sketches and things for some prep for my plan with me for August. Got some new things coming up for that, and just I'm feeling really motivated and stuff, and ready to do a bunch of videos for you guys, ready to plan a bunch of things out. I'm just feeling motivated and productive, and it's a great day. Hey y'all, so it is now 8 o'clock, and I quickly wanted to update you guys the last time for tonight. I've gotten a lot of reading and booktube stuff done today. I'm feeling super productive, feeling super great. I'm gonna start with the biggest thing first. I finished All American Murder by James Patterson. I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. It was entertaining at times, like I read it really quickly, but it just, the writing style and the organization just weren't really there for me. I didn't enjoy it as much as I expected to. I'm definitely going to go the documentary route. This is just not the way for me to read. I didn't like it. All American Murder seems so misleading because it seems like someone, like an all-American guy is gonna murder somebody, and he is not an all-American guy because that is not the all-American story. Like, I'm just gonna say, like, he does not live the all-American life, but I don't know. I just didn't really enjoy it because of some of those organizational and just stylistic issues. Like, I don't know. It just seemed very jumbled because all of a sudden in the very last chapter, like the end after the epilogue, they have a whole chapter all about how all of these actions could have been based around brain injury, which is 100% believable because he is a sports person. Like, he plays a professional football, so like brain injuries are a big thing. But they didn't introduce it until this very last chapter. Like, they never hinted at brain injuries when he was playing football at all. Like, I don't know, but it just didn't really connect with me. It was still pretty entertaining though, but glad I just went ahead and got this one off my TBR. And then in Paris, the novel, I'm just making my way through. I'm on page 246 now. I really liked the time period that we were in. It was right before the Universal Exposition or whatever that they built the Eiffel Tower for. I really liked that time period and those characters, and right now we're in like the 1400s, and I'm just really not connecting with these characters. I don't know if it's I'm not paying attention as closely. I'm not really sure. And then in The Dragon Heir, I am just absolutely loving it. The characters are so complex, and you never know what side some of them are on, and you think they're a bad guy, but they end up being a good guy. They start out as a bad guy, they end up as a good guy. They start out good, they end bad. Like, it's just, they're so complex, and it makes the story so exciting and gripping and hilarious. Some of my favorite characters are just side characters, but I just love seeing them. Like, they just show up and I laugh, and it's so amazing, and I'm so glad I'm reading it. I am currently on page 315. I've read almost 200 pages already today. At the rate I'm going, I still have like 4 hours left in the day, technically, because I do it by like midnight to midnight. So I could get really close to finishing this. So maybe I'm already looking at my TBR, trying to figure out what I can read next, and I think I have figured out what I can read if I end up finishing this either late tonight or early tomorrow. Ooh, I am just absolutely loving this so much. I'm just loving it. I have not picked up a new ebook yet since the reading rush will be starting on Monday. I won't even have an ebook then either, because only one of my books is available in ebook or audiobook through my library, and I already checked out the audiobook for it, and that one is Lady Midnight. The other ones are not available, so I'm just going to be doing a lot of physical reading for the next little bit. So I'm still doing 30-minute increments of physical reading, audiobook reading, and booktube stuff. Booktube stuff gives me the chance to catch up on some booktube on my like old channel. It was like the first channel where I watched booktube, and I forgot I was behind on that too. So I'm watching that and just kind of planning out some videos for you guys. Planning my planning video is kind of what I've been doing, because I got a new planner for the next school year, and I'm kind of trying to come up with what I'm going to do for that. So yes, and I'm kind of realizing that this vlog is going to be super long, so sorry about that, but have fun. So I will see you guys and talk to you guys tomorrow. Hey y'all, it is now Sunday almost afternoon. It's 11:45. I quickly wanted to update you guys on the reading I was able to do last night, which was so much. So just a quick update: after finishing All American Murder, I did pick up 2 really short ebooks on iBooks. They were both like 65 pages each. I just had a little bit of time, but not a lot. I couldn't tell you the titles or the authors, just that I read them. I really can't remember a lot. I might add them on Goodreads if I remember. There are a lot of things on Goodreads that I need to add. I need to really sit down and update that, which I could do pretty soon. So yes, that, and then last night at like 11:54, I finished The Dragon Heir by Cinda Williams-Chima. Wow, I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I just love her character development. Something really sad happened. I teared up because just a precious bean, but it's okay. I just really love the way that the characters develop and just the plot develops, and you never know what's going to happen next. You think that one thing is going to happen, and then it totally changes. I just really, really love it, this series, and they're just such quick, fun in terms of like really fast and just really enjoyable. Not necessarily that that the like entirety of the plot is fun, because like it's a giant war, so it's not always like the most lighthearted, but it is just so enjoyable, and I just absolutely love this series so much. And then after finishing that, I have updated my TBR jar some. Let me go grab it. So over here, I've updated my TBR jar, so I have all of the books that I have on my shelves to read. It says #done with a little graduation cap. I got it a few years ago at a graduation party. It was super cute, but I have all of the books on my shelves that I need to read right there. And then in here I have the books for the newts that I need to finish. I will probably choose a lot of them by just choosing them from this TBR jar, and I also have just the pieces of paper set aside for my reading rush TBR. But I kind of picked a book from the jar, and I ended up choosing Beautiful Player by Christina Lauren, which is like what I was leaning towards, but at the same time I was like, oh, it's like the biggest one. It's 400 pages. Can I finish it in 24 hours realistically? And I couldn't help myself. I picked it up anyways, especially since the TBR jar chose it. Like, I couldn't not. I love it already. I am 100 pages in, so I'm a quarter of the way through. Woohoo! I love this, and this one is like the best friend, or the brother's best friend, which is like one of my favorite tropes ever, and oh, it's so good. I just love these. They're just so much fun. All the characters are friends. I love this series. Christina Lauren, they know how to write a book. That's all I can say. And then in Paris the novel, I am on page 310, I think. So getting pretty close. The book is like 800 pages long, so I'm making my way through. Still really enjoying it. It's just a nice, easy kind of book to listen to. I'm really enjoying the overall ideas and just learning more about the history of Paris through all of these other characters and people who are completely fictional, but we're learning about the history of the city, and it's just so much fun. So yes, I will update you guys later today. Hey y'all, it is Sunday night. It's like 8 o'clock. I quickly wanted to wrap up this week's vlog because I've pretty much finished any sort of major progress that I will have made. This week was like my best reading week of the year so far in terms of number of books. Granted, a few of them were really short ebooks that I just read for the sake of reading them. I end up getting a bunch of free books from iBooks that are just random romances. Like 2 of them that I read last night were 60 pages each. So like, I don't know. If people get technical, they could call me out or something. I don't know. But I finished 13 books. That was a lot. So I've got my little notebook here, my little I'll-Crate reading journal, and I will just go down the list. So Monday I finished Defy by L.J. Shen, which was an ebook. I really enjoyed it. I think it was like a short story novella that was kind of like a prequel to her like big series about Vicious, that guy. And yeah, I enjoyed it overall. I'm now more interested in the rest of the series, but with my current finances, which is $0, I will not be getting them soon, but I am more interested now that I know that I enjoy the author's writing style and just her kind of things. And then Tuesday, I finished Make Believe Fiance, which was another ebook, and Escaping from Houdini, which was the audiobook by Carrie Maniscalco. I really enjoyed that one. Can't remember what I rated it, you know? I'm trying my best here, y'all. And then Wednesday, I finished the audiobook for Finale by Stephanie Garber, Tower of Dawn, which I have right here by Sarah J. Maas. I really loved this one. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Please go pick up Throne of Glass. I love this series so much. And then I also finished Beautiful Stranger by Christina Lauren, which is book 2 in the Beautiful Bastard series. Then on Thursday, I finished the audiobook for Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab and the ebook for Unexpectedly Yours by another author, once again a romance ebook. Then yesterday, on Saturday, I finished the ebook for All American Murder by James Patterson. I kind of enjoyed it, kind of didn't. And also the physical book for The Dragon Heir by Cinda Williams-Choma, which I absolutely loved and gave 5 stars. And then today, I have finished Delayed Satisfaction and Avoiding the Playboy, which were both ebooks on iBooks. And then I also finished and started Beautiful Player by Christina Lauren. I loved it. My favorite one in the series so far. I just really love the trope that was included in this one, which was like brother's best friend, and just the characters I just loved so much in this one. So please go pick up this series if you are at all interested, because wow. That's really all I have to say. This one wasn't as like sex heavy, but I still absolutely loved it, and that tension was still definitely there. So yes, going into the reading rush for next week, I will be doing one weekly vlog because I just don't really have the time to do daily vlogs. I'd rather focus on reading the number of books and that kind of stuff, and I will be out of town from Friday to Sunday. And then as well, I yeah, I'm pretty happy going into it because I'm not reading anything physically and I'm not reading anything in ebook, and all I have left is some of the audiobook for Paris by Edward Rutherford. I think I'm still on page 310 or somewhere around there. I kind of knew I wasn't going to be able to finish this one, but just that I was making a lot of progress before the newts, so I will definitely have the opportunity to finish this one before the newts start at the beginning of August, which is super exciting. So yes, that has been my reading for the week. It's been super productive, and I'm hoping that next week is just as productive. So if you guys have liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.